Almighty God, you have blessed us with memory, reason, and skill. Help us to use them wisely in the service of our town government. We ask this tonight, O name, amen. Just with the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anybody in the audience wish to address the board?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Most of you know I am Greg Martin, Mayor of the Champlain Village. I guess my question is, where do we stand on the water and wastewater contract? I thought we were moving right along with, the negotiations that we had with your committee and with Michael. I just wondering where we are there. And I guess I'm looking in our meetings with the health department, one of the things that was stressed very highly was the idea that my primary job in terms of water services in the village of Champlain is to protect that service, to protect it from contamination. And that's why a while ago we started looking at a new meter pit with the backflow preventer installed in 3 of your water districts. And I guess having that emphasized at that health department meeting, I've been thinking about this, and I would really, from the standpoint of the village, I think we would like to see some movement towards rectifying this situation. There's engineering studies that need to be done. I understand. I honestly understand, and I'm willing to work with you till the 9th yard, if you will. But there's engineering studies that have to be done, approved by the health department, and that will also give you a better idea as to the cost and, of implementing these backflow preventers, which are so necessary. I have to emphasize a point here. My primary regards here is to protect the village's water supply. If that means that we have to make adjustments or whatever it entails, that's my primary job there. And I understand, what it means for the town to put these new meter pits in and the backflow preventers, but I would really like to see us moving forward here. It's been a long, long time, and I'd like to see, so that we can accomplish what we need to accomplish here. And I guess that's just a statement from my end of this deal.
Okay, we appreciate that comments. We will be discussing this in the executive session,
Okay.
contractual.
Right.
We've got 3 districts, my understanding is 3.
Yes.
We need 3.
Well, there's 3 districts, but one of them only has 7
Yes.
customers or something, and I'm sure that we can work out something where each of the residencies have a backflow preventer on it, rather than the $45,000 or $50,000 meter pit and backflow preventer that the other 2 are going to require.
I did put some figures in today, what it would cost certain people,
Yep.
based on their assessed valuations and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll be discussing all of that. And certainly a big concern of mine would be that Prairie Mills Water District, where there's only
Yes.
7 customers.
Oh, I understand
If
that.
it's $40,000, $50,000 or more here,
Yeah, I
and 7
understand that.
customers, it would be a huge, huge burden.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Mayor, could I just ask, you don't require that of your village residents?
Yes, we do.
Every residence has a backflow
No,
preventer?
not every resident has
Okay.
one, no.
Just commercial properties?
Commercial
within the
properties
district?
or any property in which there is the possibility that contamination may exist,
Right.
may occur.
So in terms of, I understand a central or, the main pit with this meter and this backflow prevention device right at when it enters the town system would
Yes.
cover all of that. But in terms of the cost, because those are very expensive systems, is there any thought to the village allowing perhaps residents to continue the way they are with the system and just having commercial properties within the town system have backflow prevention devices?
We haven't discussed that. Most of these backflow preventers that would be required in the Perry's Mills district are pretty reasonable. You're not talking, a large amount of money. It's just to stop the contamination possibility. Rather than the whole huge meter pit
Right.
concept. I think those are, and John, and I think has an approved list, if not, I have one at home, an approved list of backflow preventers that would be available for individual homes. We received it at the health department meeting that we had.
I got quotes on that, and for a residential 3/4 inch backflow preventer, it has to be testable, it has to be approved by the health department. You're looking at roughly $300 installed. So it's a far cry from the 50,000 for the,
Yeah.
the main meter, and there are 7 homes in that district, I believe.
And that's another health department requirement, that these meters be tested yearly. And the town is responsible for, pardon?
Who would test these meters?
There are people around, there are people who are certified to test these meters.
So it wouldn't be your own
No,
people?
no, they're not certified yet. They're gonna go.
Okay.
You can have your own people certified. Rural Water does a lot of them.
Yeah.
Town of Plattsburgh has 5 or 6 people.
Yeah.
Town of Peru has some. I mean, there's a whole list that we got from the health department. So, and they charge roughly $75 for a test, depending on the size and the complexity of the thing.
And we have signed up 4 people for that class, the water lessons course.
Yes, that'll be great. Yeah, I think we may send 1 or 2 down as well.
Okay, that's been taken care of.
Yeah. My question last night for Mr. McManus at the village board meeting was if he could look into the possibility of setting up a wastewater class, much like the water class that's going on
Yes.
next week or week after. Right now, to receive certification, you have to go to Morrisonville, or Morrisville. Morrisville. And it takes about a week or so. It's quite expensive, obviously, to pay the fee, as Steve knows was on the village board, to pay the fee for the class, as well as having to pay for meals and lodging and travel for an employee to go down and get certified in this. If we could move that farther north, it would benefit, I think it would benefit our community, but it would benefit the town as well if they wanted to send somebody down there, to get certified for this. It's not a bad job. Working at the wastewater plant is not a bad job. And it's a very necessary job to help protect the natural resources that we have in this area.
One thing, I think maybe if I update you more than I could on this, we did apply for a grant maybe a year or 2 ago for master meters and.
Yeah, that's this right here, but, well, we applied in conjunction with the village of Champlain, village of Rouse's Point, and we were denied the application. The focus is shift towards the wastewater side versus the water side now, so they're not funding. This was under a green initiative, part of the master plan, I guess, the government had.
And certainly if we do this, we're still going to have to look for some grant money or something to help us. We'll thank you if we do that, at least try. And that's not a much process, as you probably know.
Oh, yeah.
It's
But I think just to have your engineering services done, or have that it's got to be your first point, have that done, and then you'd have a better idea of what's involved.
we have mentioned this to Matt Cooper of the Billion Card Group.
Yeah.
So he's aware of that, the possibility that we're going to be.
And even, I think that would help the processing when you apply for a grant. If you have the engineering studies already done, your grant processing is so streamlined, then it's much easier to deal with.
He's aware of these
Yeah.
type of pits and meters and. Yes.
I can't believe I'm the only person who's not smart enough to understand how you can get contaminated with the water. The water is all self-contained, it comes in a pipe, goes to your faucet. How does that get contaminated? What causes it to get contaminated where it's gonna backflow? I'm not smart enough to comprehend that.
Well, I think, Calvin, it would be a series of, may I?
Yeah, yes.
It would be a series of unfortunate events. We had a water main break on Ridge Road last year. If at the time of that water main break where water is gushing out of that pipe, if we had a fire down in the center of the village and the fire department started hooking up their tankers or pumpers or whatever and started drawing waters through that hydrant, it's gonna draw water back through that system. So if there's any contaminants in that pit, it's gonna draw them back into the system, pull it back into the village system.
Isn't there a shut-off valve where you?
Well, you
tie it
have to
down?
physically go up and shut it off.
Mhm.
In the case of a fire, things would happen much quicker than, I think, than we could get somebody up there to shut it off. Eventually, that's what would have to happen,
But
yes.
wouldn't we know that there was a water main break?
Yes, we would, but to shut the water off, you're shutting the water off on all those customers along that road. And then you have to go through a boil water event. What we like to do is fix the pipe while it is still charged. When it's still pushing water up, unless it's a huge break and we have to shut everything down. But if it's a smaller break, we like to let it run, we cap it, or put a sleeve on it. We don't have to turn the water completely off, there's still pressure at the end of the line, but it also allows us not to have to go to a boil water situation, where it has to be checked, and then it has to be checked again in 2 or 3 days.
So actually, I'm sure we don't want to burden those 7 people in Perry's Mills district with a $50,000 bill, but the system you're proposing wouldn't solve this problem then if it's the water main that breaks, because you're shutting off the water coming back from their house.
I'm assuming that on that district, the water main is not gonna break, because that's a whole new system in there.
I think the more likely scenario in those 7 homes would be, in real simple terms, if somebody is filling a swimming pool and there's a low pressure event where you get siphoning, it could theoretically siphon the water out of the swimming pool, and you could have contaminated water. I mean, that's the analogy the health department gave us when we were there, so.
Okay, I forgot, we did take a close look at it. Okay, we will get, I'll be shortly, I hope. If there's no, I have a public hearing at 7:15, we're going to be close to that now. If I could have a motion to go into public session to the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
You got a copy of that? No, we have to do that. Fairbanks, okay. Julie, do you have, did I call the one in there? All those in favor for that, public hearing?
I'll make the motion, we go into public hearing.
You got the motion? Just make all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Passed. Julie, you have the notice? Pardon? It was published.
Yeah, it was put in the
People on Fairbanks Road, several people petitioned us, requested a lighting district. We looked into it. I think the fingers will are on the front, right there, yeah. There's, what, 12 people? 11. 11?
No problem.
Well, there's 12 property owners. They came up with a figure of $11 per light per month. Yeah. $33 a month times 12 months, $396 divided by 12 payments, which are roughly $33 a year per person. Okay. I'm really kind of surprised there's nobody here to comment tonight. The majority of the people signed a petition for it. There is no cost of anybody other than those users on that line, on that electrical line, that water, lighting district. Really totally shocked that somebody in here to even address it, you know. But, I don't know if I need anything though, other than just approve it, right?
Well, just close the public hearing and then take it.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Any board members? Okay. We've been working on this for a year or more, I think. We've been all about it. Not long at all, okay. If there's no questions or concerns about the lighting district, I'll close the public hearing and go back to the public session and have a motion to do that, please.
A motion to close the public hearing. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now, I need a motion to approve. There will be a roll call vote.
I'll make a motion, we approve the lighting district for the Fairbanks, road.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I roll call vote, John Cooper,
Aye.
John Paul,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
And yes for myself. Thank you. Any other information, Julie, on that? You got it? You got your copy? I need a motion to approve the June 14th board minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of June 14th as written.
Second.
Thank you, John. Any questions on the minutes of June 14th? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. You have your town clerk's monthly report. Thank you, Julie, for this. It's billing permits and dogs licenses and marriage licenses. Just strictly for information.
Nice report.
Pardon?
Nice report.
Yes. The next letter is from our attorney, and we will be discussing that in executive session. You got your JCO monthly report for the month of June. This is for information only. It seems they're quite active down here in Champlain. You have your real property work schedule for July. For public information, they're here every Friday to meet with the public. They're here on Mondays, most Mondays, to do field work, and sometimes they are in the building. But if you want to come in on a Monday, call ahead, but they're always here on a Friday. Any questions or concerns about real property assessments? We got a letter from our Congressman, Bill Owens, thanking us for using this boardroom for a they had a, I wouldn't call it a workshop, it was
It was his liaison.
Bill Owens was not here himself,
No,
one
it
of
was
his
his liaison.
representatives were. I did talk to the lady afterwards and it went fine for people to come in. I wasn't here that day, it was the day that it was a Thursday, I believe. And I had no problem, allowing them to use the building. More than glad to do that. Got a notice from New York State Real Property Office that we are at 100% of assessed value equalization rate, as all towns are required to do. I got a list of all the towns, they all, in Clinton County, they are all at 100%. You have your dog patrol officer's monthly report, fairly active there also. A letter from the New York State Office of Emergency Management pertaining to local hazard mitigation plan. This is something that it's up for renewal in June of 2012. This is a county-wide plan. We need to, between now and next June, approve this for, I believe it's 5 years at a time. It started in, I think, 2007 to 2012, that's 5 years, I'm pretty sure of that. Anyway, we will take care of that before next June. The good news, Clinton County Treasurer's Office owed us $183. That's always good news. This is a settlement with the town tax collector. Judy, you probably know more about this than I would. That was just money they owed us.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. This one's a little different. It's all from the real property office also. Anybody that buys a piece of property during the year after the taxes have been paid, that is, after the bills have been sent out, that's tax exempt. The next owner doesn't necessarily get the tax exempted. They have to pick the taxes up on the rest of the year, and that's what this is all about. They owed $1,213, and we get this once a year. So this is money coming back to us, the property that's been sold. And that used to be tax exempt. Annual golf tournament. Who got to play golf? In Vermont, Cherry Knoll Country Club, if we wanna sponsor a team. That's strictly for information. Okay, Julie, you got the town clerk's report? You got anything?
The only thing I have is, last month, you guys opened bids for lawn care, but there was no motion made, no decision made. You guys either have to reject them or do something, because I need to notify the customer.
Just to bring Bill up to date a little bit on this, we advertised for lawn care for our cemeteries and this facility here, and the 10 roadside signs that we have issuing, I think there's 10 or 11 of those. We got 5 bids, am I right, George? I think it was 5. I could not get a motion at that time to accept any of the bids. I did not, I asked for a motion to reject bids, and I did not get one of those either, so I just let it go. Now, where do I go with this?
It was 5.
5, yeah.
No motion on the floor, I mean, they're just there, they've been received, if somebody wants to make a motion to reject all of them.
Yes, I asked more than once, and I did not get a motion to approve or reject. I would just advise Julie just to, probably that you can notify these people that none of the bids were accepted.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the reason is, but it would be nice to just, have a motion one way or the other, I mean, just either reject them all, and that's fine. Certainly have the right to do that, I don't know. Other than that, it's just out there.
Yeah, it's a new
It's an
thing,
open
that's all,
issue.
you know.
You know, at this point, I think Julie would just be reporting that they were received, they were open, and the town board has taken no action one way or the other on it at this point.
Okay.
Do you have anything else, Julie?
No, that's all I have.
I can bring you up to date a little bit on highway report. Alan's not here. I don't know why he's not here. They were paving late this afternoon. We have started paving on the Hayford Road near the golf course, about a half-mile section. We started today. And we're paving 3 or 4 roads, and it should be done by the end of next week, I would assume, if everything goes well. That's the weather, equipment. We've picked up brush that came afloat at Point of Fair and Stony Point roads. I believe 38 loads of debris. We will be paving a short section of Point of Fair Road, several hundred feet down there that was really badly damaged. We've been told to keep track of all our expenses as far as flood damage goes. If and when there is some reimbursement possibly through FEMA, so we're keeping track of that. Can't think of anything else as far as the highway goes. The roadsides have mostly been done, as of yesterday, also nearly done. The first time, we usually do them twice a year. All I can think of there, on the highway. I need a motion, you have nothing else, Julie?
No,
Okay, I need a motion to approve the monthly bills.
I'll make a motion to approve the monthly bills.
I'll second that motion.
Is there any concerns or questions on the monthly bills? Okay, if not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I need a motion to go into executive session pertaining to 3 separate contracts. Okay,
I make a motion to go into executive sessions for the above mentioned contracts.
I second that.
thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.